fuel a wildfire burning well to the east of San Francisco. What crews can expect today after people were forced from their homes over the weekend. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Kelly Cass alongside meteorologist Stephanie Abrams. Steph, I'm going to start with this. Huge hail reported yesterday. Swisher and Briscoe counties in Texas. I got a tape measure right here. 6 inches in diameter. So this was the size across those hailstones. Remember, they're spiky. They're not smooth.
Yeah.
That can do a lot of damage.
It is hard to imagine. Of course, the state record 6.42 inches. So this was nearing a state record. And the amount of updraft you'd have to sustain that at least 100 miles an hour to keep that hailstone up and growing and accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Then it gets too heavy and falls down. Of course, the record is in South Dakota, Vivian, South Dakota, 8 inches, weighing over a pound. Right, Kelly? That was the. Do you remember exactly how much it weighed?
Just under 2 pounds.
Just under 2 pounds.
Yeah, just under.
Can you imagine?
Woo,
that does damage. That could hurt you for sure and cause significant damage. All right, this system has produced hail 1 inch in diameter. That can do little dings and nicks for you. And it is cruising here along the border of Kansas and Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warnings for us, making its way towards Wichita on the I-35 corridor as well. And we'll see more storms as we head later today. Winds 60, 70 miles an hour, hail 1 inch in diameter. We could get some bigger hail as we head later into the afternoon. But if you know anyone in Medicine Lodge, that's just the first round. We will get a second round of storms coming through. Pratt as well, 280 going eastbound as well. Harper, this is headed towards you. Manchester, I-60, and we do have some stronger winds. And as I was showing you just last hour, and there was actually a tornado warning put on that little notch that I had pointed out last hour. You have to watch out for these little notches within these. You can get little spin ups. Regardless, this whole line has very strong winds, but within these little notches, you can get little spins. And we did have a tornado warning last hour on one of those little notches. Showers and storms into eastern Kansas. Tulsa headed up I-44 as well. Severe thunderstorm watch until noon, covering a decent amount of real estate here and straddling the border of Oklahoma and Kansas. This afternoon, we're not finished with it. This isn't just the beginning and then we're done and done. We're going to see more storms that will bubble up behind this system, and that will be later this afternoon. So there's our first complex that comes down here in Arkansas, Louisiana. We also see some, and then we're going to see things refire right over Oklahoma City as we head into the afternoon hours, and that means heavy showers and rain. There's your hail. Hopefully we're not going to see 6-inch hail today, but we could see 2 inch or greater. I'm not expecting those 6 inches today. 3 out of 10 on our tornado condition index. So again, just those little spin ups for you. And as we continue that forecast, you can see clusters here. There's number 1, and then number 2 is going to drop basically over the same areas. So we could get several rounds of nasty weather coming through, and the same as we look through the northern tier, scattered storms. And by the way, the northern tier is going to get some help from energy that is coming from the west, and that means that into Wisconsin, also into Illinois, we will see some of those heavier showers making their way to Milwaukee and the Chicagoland area as we head into the overnight hours. Kelly.
All right, Steph, you talked about rain where we don't need it. One place is Little Rock, and thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm actually standing in Riverfront Park where we have a serious surplus for the year, and we're going to be looking for more storms, unfortunately, on this already saturated ground. Watch out for damaging winds, large hail, the potential for flash flooding. We're running about 13 inches above average for the year. Yesterday's high hit 90 degrees. We should be mid-80s, so at least the cooler, the cloudy skies will take the edge off the heat a little bit, at least temporarily. But we do see take a look at our future radar. It's going to be about midday when we start to see some of those bigger storms start to show up. So the sunshine is out there heating up the atmosphere, and there's your instability leading to the showers and storms early afternoon. And then again, another round as we try to get home from work later this evening. You know, if the kids have day camp or something like that today, also have someone, the counselors, keeping an eye on the radar, because these storms could be very strong with gusty winds over 60 miles an hour, and can't rule out some of that hail. Oklahoma City, we already have storms to the south of you and to the north of you. Steph just talked about the warnings right along the Oklahoma-Kansas state line. Those storms will drift southward in the coming hours. Northern suburbs of Oklahoma City stretching all the way towards Tulsa. So you've got a section of the I-44 corridor being impacted by lunchtime. And then those storms will move to the south and east. And then we get additional storms. They come in later tonight, well after the sun goes down. 10, 11 o'clock. This could actually wake you up with the potential of large hail within these storms, the gusty winds, and of course the heavy rain coming through. Now we've got Texarkana down to Shreveport, the northwestern corner of Louisiana. We're pretty good for the morning commute, trying to get somewhere this morning, running those errands. It's going to be later on this afternoon when we start to see at least the isolated showers popping up on our future radar. Northeastern Texas, though, bigger storms there, and that all kind of congeals and comes into Texarkana by the time we make our way towards 8 o'clock this evening, just as the sun is going down. Bigger storms in the parishes of northern Louisiana as well. And yes, more activity even as we head towards 11 midnight tonight. It is still going out there with the thunder and lightning. Jackson, Mississippi, we did have some severe weather over the weekend. Hopefully not severe with this batch of storms that comes through by this afternoon. 3 o'clock, we see the storms right along that section of I-20, and we see additional storms coming through later on tonight. It's dark outside aside from the strobe of lightning out your window, and more showers as we begin our Tuesday morning into the Ozarks. So southern Missouri also going to be tracking some wet weather here as early as this afternoon. And one danger with these severe storms is the destructive hail. It can damage property and pose a risk to people. Meteorologist Mark Elliott has a few tips to keep you safe. Waiting around at the gate yet again. Vicious storms over the weekend in Texas. By the way, we still have outages in the Dallas area from Tuesday morning storms. They have made a lot of progress. It went from just under 70,000 customers statewide to now around 20,000 statewide. But more storms today, not just in the southern plains, but keeping an eye on the Twin Cities, Chicago, even Atlanta. Can't rule out a possible delay in Tampa. We've got some storms in your future as well. Let's take a look at where the severe weather has been this morning. We're talking about Oklahoma as well as southern Kansas. This is where we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for this line that is kind of bowing out and pushing south and east, dropping down from Kansas and moving into northwestern Oklahoma. So with that line, there could be 70-mile-per-hour winds, not out of the question. Even earlier, the warning was for like 80-mile-per-hour winds. And then, of course, there's your lightning hazard. That is showing up just to the north and west of Woodward. You're probably looking north and west of that light show right now. Alva, Oklahoma, on up towards Pratt, Kansas. You're seeing some lightning, but it's south of Pratt where we do have the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Winds up around 60 or 70 miles an hour. Possibly some penny-sized hail coming through with these storms as well. Moving generally to the east at about 30 or 35 miles an hour. Looking at the wind velocity now, this is the wind with respect to the Doppler radar. This is how we can see not just how strong the winds are, but look for rotation along that line as well. And if we see rotation or the Weather Service sees it, we could see a tornado warning popping up very quickly. Severe thunderstorm watch going until noon today for portions of Kansas down towards Oklahoma City. But really anywhere you see the red, and it's a huge area, we could see severe weather today, including those damaging winds and more big hail, hopefully not as big as what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and this worked out. Ben Tracy with our partners at CBS News. So let's talk about the heat and all that we are dealing with here in the West, because we do have a lot of warm temperatures. And we were talking about triple-digit heat. I was going to ask him about the firefighters and dealing with that heat. I know Ben has covered tons of these fires, and he knows just how hard it is on these, firefighters to get out there when they are working, even if, by the way, he's saying that they don't have a lot to mop up. They're still out there. They're still doing a lot of work. And today's really not going to be that bad where he's located in the 80s, and we do have some cloud cover, but you saw that wind, and the wind gusting to 15 miles an hour, even near 30 miles an hour at times. But it's an expansion of this triple-digit heat for us. Phoenix, Las Vegas, and it does get into the area where that Corral fire is here to the east of San Francisco for us, around the Stockton, Modesto area. And we will see, these are just our highs, by the way. Of course, in the West, we say it's a dry heat, and we do have excessive heat advisories, Tucson, Phoenix, Vegas, and then into the Central Valley as well. So it's not just a one-day thing. This is going to last. Really, as we head into next week, we will see those warm temperatures, and some of those, by the way, could be record-setting. And if we're not breaking them, we're going to be very close to them here into Fresno, into Stockton. You can see a degree or so away from that record. But with our jet stream to the north, that just allows this warmth to sit in place here. Not much is going to change for us over the extended period, and we will stay above average. 10, 15, even 20 degrees. The other problem is those overnight lows don't cool off, so you really never get a break from that heat. Notice Vegas, I know it's supposed to be hot, not this hot. 96 is our average high, and we will be well above that as we go all the way through our Friday here with the triple digits. Phoenix, 101. Yes, that's hot, but it's not 112. That's very different. 101 versus 112 is very, very warm for us here, and so this will be something that we'll continue to watch.